Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another game for U.S. Quidditch Cup 11. This is a community team game, so it's pool play. On the left-hand side, Ohio Glory. Looking for some glory here today against the Nomads. As Ohio Glory been on quite a roll today.
Yeah, looking to go 3-0.
Gonna get the quaffle first.
Early.
Swim over that. No blood, no beaters in the near vicinity, and a quick shuffle and a score off the mid hoop.
That was
Sorry to smoke.
That was Conkle on the run up there. Very fast.
No doubt about that. Playing point chaser, so no surprise there that the speed is with him. And good job on his part. Good job on his team as well. You'll see a lot of fast chasers get to the quaffle first, but their beaters can't get to the bludgers before they can, so they get beat out about an inch down the field.
Ooh, quick beat right there by McAdoo.
And that is going to be a card for kicking a quaffle instead of reaching down and grabbing it. It's going to be yellow. He's going to get sent to the box. And an early break.
Ooh, not how you want to start off for Ohio Glory.
No doubt about that. An early break for Nomads coming into this one. This will be interesting to see what they come up with here, if they can score to start this one off, because down one.
Yeah, plus Conkle's one of their best chasers. Giving him a yellow card early, he's got to play a little more timid for the rest of the game. That's scary.
I guess that's one way to eliminate a point chaser, but you know. Up top, Ohio Glory taking their time beater-wise and actually taking aim at the quaffle carrier. Pass behind the hoops, not cleanly caught, but still possessed for just a second. Ohio Glory is able to run that one down. Beater cleans that up, and they'll be back here on offense.
Yep, Doherty bringing it down as usual with McAdoo a few feet in front of him, ready to walk down and see if he can get a shot off.
No doubt about that. And then, of course, with the beater coverage up front, you have to wonder how this exchange is going to go down. Does the beater aim for the opposing beater, or does he aim for the quaffle carry? And the hesitation gets him nothing. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to make a move. There's no right or wrong move. You just got to make one. And a nice score from the Nomads. A couple of fake outs and looks over. I'm sorry, nice score from Ohio Glory yet again. Makes the score 20-10.
Yeah, Nomads had control there, bludger control, and they lost it really quickly without doing anything with it. They're going to need to change that if they want to do something this game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, McAdoo will just run him into the ground. And
it looks like there's going to be a rotation for point chaser, and it looks also like Ohio Glory is going to go with trying to cut off access on one side of the pitch to the other, and they're going to actually take a beat off the calf up top. Ohio Glory is going to take their time to get back into this one, and this could be 30-0 here in just a second, as the bludgers are going to hang back, which means it is a one-on-one situation. It is indeed 30-zip.
Yep, laser to Conk, who just came out of the box. Nobody was guarding him next to the small hoop.
So we're looking at some action across the community pool so far. We've got results from Pool A going into this one. The Bosnian Bear Sharks at the top of Pool A, currently 3-0. Everybody else 1-2, except the LA Gambits of all teams. They got a win versus the #1 ranked team in that pool, the Nomads, to make them 2-1 on the day. Their only loss coming right after coming to the Lake Erie Elite in a pretty hotly contested, to the Bosnian Bear Sharks off of a snitch catch from Teddy Costa. That game had to be decided in a pretty crazy fashion. It was the first game of the day. It started off.
This is Ohio Glory going to their reserves, so Nomads need to start putting up the scores now if they want to get back in this.
And in Pool 1, because you think everything has to be scored, sometimes you just get back on defense and you give yourselves the chance to get to full defensive effort out there.
Absolutely.
Is that a shot? And did it go through? It might have been short.
But yes, some of the lower teams will.
And it wasn't the Ohio Glory female keeper, though.
Correct. I do not think it was a shot deflection. I think he propelled it himself.
It looks like UT.
Texas and Michigan that was on that pitch.
And it looks like UT came out the victors over there. Heard a lot of cheering, as usual, when you're down the street from your home, when you're down the street from your hometown, basically.
Oh yeah, Texas definitely has the advantage here in the fan base. Texas Tech, I've seen a lot of fans for all the Texas teams.
Texas Tech, most of their players not getting in until midnight tonight.
Ooh,
Luckily for them, actually, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, midnight yesterday is kind of early in comparison to some players who got here an hour after the tournament started because their flights got canceled.
Yeah, we had a player get diverted back to Dallas and get a ride with actually David Becker from Mizzou. His mother drove her all the way here, so thank you, Mrs. Becker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I know some of the players in the South actually had flights canceled as well.
And we heard a car catching on fire in the process of
Florida
driving
State,
down.
That's
pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was, it's always crazy. Last year was the blizzard in April.
Right.
And New York teams had to drive. It was crazy. It always
had the Rutgers situation.
Yep.
Now reluctantly unaffiliated.
Quidditch. I love it.
As the pool play continues here. Pool D action stuff. Pool D action. They've got 2 games registered for this pool, even though they played their third one. We haven't seen the results out of it as Ohio Glory is running away with this one. Nomads have scored 1 goal to, I think, Ohio Glory's 12 at this point. A nice block at the hoops there, but can the Nomads recover? They can.
Oh, yep, 80-10 right now.
80-10.
Yeah, at this point, I think Ohio Glory is going to probably play their beeline the rest of the game. You see Belknap's their 3rd string.
Nomads get another
really
80-20.
Yeah, I don't know at what point this game gets scary for Ohio Glory, but I still think it's another 10 or 20 goals out.
It's always important. It's always important to get work for players, especially when you get opportunities like this. You don't get opportunities on a national scale to get work for your players who typically don't get into the game. So hopefully they're going to let them seize this opportunity to show that they can score. On top of that, get comfortable with each other out there on the field. That chemistry is something that it's hard work to not only gain, but to constantly maintain.
Yeah, and there's just such a difference between practice and games with getting that chemistry.
Because there's a certain degree everybody in practice is pulling up because we're all teammates and nobody wants to get hurt in practice.
Yeah, plus you know what defenses you're running, so you're all doing the same moves against each other.
Right.
Whereas running against completely different players, teams, it's very different.
Different strategy. They come from a different approach. They have a totally different walk of life, and you can see it out here on the pitch. It's reflected across the board. The intensity that certain teams bring is reflective of the region that they play in, and then the strategy and the beater skill of certain other regions as well. It's very as a guy who's only been in Quidditch for about 2 years, it's been a learning experience how simple a game can be and how complicated it can be all at the same time.
Yeah. Just how much like the Southwest will lean on chasers and physicality, and then you get to the New York and the
Northeast area.
The Northeast teams, and it's all about beating.
A lot of strategy, a lot of beating, and then on top of that, now that every team can see each other, pretty much, essentially the Quidditch world is flat. There's footage everywhere.
Yeah, everybody knows everybody else.
Everybody's adapting different skill sets, like the Southwest actually developing different types of shooters and stuff like that. In the Midwest and the Northeast, developing that intensity that the Southwest brand of Quidditch is known for. The Nomads get the ball back on a quaffle turnover, and now a throw. Oh, almost came up with that one if it were not for a change of direction, but a nice tackle by Mims, who was out for a second with that situation on her. Oh, that was not Mims. That was 7.
Yep. Mims is back in though, so she looks like she's not.
Yeah, it looks like she's all right over there.
Yeah, that's good. Good to see her out there. She's a very smart player. She sets very good picks.
Invaluable.
Yes.
Especially if you time it right. Oh, yeah.
Perfect. And they do with Dockery. You'll be chasing him sideways. She'll set a pick, and then he's got a wide open shot on the other side of you.
Especially if you got teammates who don't communicate very well, those picks can be deadly.
Yes.
And if you don't have, and if it's a real mismatch, you have somebody as an off-ball chaser for a reason. For the most part.
And all Doherty needs is that 1 second he gets from a pick to make a wide open shot or pass to somebody. So it's dangerous. But that's the thing with Ohio Glory is they're very top heavy. Their starting line with Doherty, Conkle, and McAdoo is extremely good. But they lack the depth that some of the other teams from Texas or say Lost Boys, you'd say, would have.
As Ohio Glory currently 2-0 in pool play so far here today. The Lost Boys 2-0 as well.
I'm waiting for that showdown. That'll be a good game.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a good one. The Lost Boys had a rough go of it at first and actually turned it around. Snitch on pitch, they become a totally different team. Nice tackle up front by the Nomads and still trying to recover.
Wow, he tanked through. Did he get it? Oh, over. But Kersey's got the rebound and he checks the defender and jams it in.
And that was good hustle from the Nomads up front on defense. They forced that bad pass, but Ohio Glory, they keep churning away. And you can tell players who've been at this game for a long while, they're really inexperienced players that feel like they get taken down to the ground and they just kind of stay there for a little bit. And they look around and they're just waiting for the play to be over when other players pop up very quickly and they get back into it because they know they have an opportunity to be an impact player still because they're not out of the game yet.
Yeah, just because you're on the ground doesn't mean you're done yet, especially if you're holding the quaffle.
Right, especially if you're holding the quaffle.
I've seen a lot of goals from shooting from the ground that are rather demoralizing when they do it to you.
Got to stay ready at all times. The 290 Blue Bond is currently 1-1. They got a win earlier today versus these Nomads. Fighting Farmers of America currently 1-1. They lost big to, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I remember this.
Who?
Fighting Farmers of America out of the West region. By the way, best uniforms.
But yes, I agreed. Best uniforms in Quidditch.
They have, they are farmers, so they have overalls, of course, and they're jersey overalls.
With a fantastic yellow flannel.
No doubt about that.
That is a classic jersey. But yeah, I think they got picked off by the 5th or 6th seed in that bracket.
Yeah, I'm looking. I know their loss was earlier this morning, and that's probably why I don't remember it. It's been a long day. Yeah. Gainesville Siege had that game versus DCQC, District of Columbia Quidditch Club. They lost that one 100-40 in that matchup. But so the Fighting Farmers of America sitting 1-1, and behind them.
So is there any South team that's going to make bracket?
Southern Storm is currently 0-2. So
Florida's Finest also
0-2. 0-2. Florida's Finest had a tough game. They really, I got a chance to watch them a couple of games ago. They really struggled when it came to maintaining that bludger control. They got so many opportunities against Lost Boys to score to make that game a lot closer, and it took until about 3 minutes before Snitch on pitch. And they just couldn't get it done. They scored 3 consecutive goals, and then Snitch on pitch happened, and Lost Boys went into a totally different mode. So they finally adjusted to the game that Lost Boys was playing, and we had a situation where the head ref had to be switched out for whatever reason. The head ref had to be switched out, so that took a long while. And Florida's Finest, they had an opportunity. To their credit, Florida's Finest, if anybody is jet lag, it's those guys. They've had about an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
And it was on the plane. The flight this morning.
And they are 0-2, but I believe their other loss was to Lone Star?
Yes.
Yeah, so they've lost to the top 2 seeds. So they still have
a chance to get a chance to go 2-2 going into tomorrow, and then possibly get that 3rd win.
Yeah, all they have to do is hold the seed, so they're still got a chance.
Champions out of the South, Florida's Finest.
Yep, and now we've got Snitch on pitch action, and
it's Snitch Rob.
Are out.
Snitch Rob, who took a step back, and Ohio Glory swats one in. Almost swatted in, but a nice beat in just enough time to prevent that goal from being scored. But Snitch Rob took a little bit of time off from the game itself.
I love the hat.
Oh, yeah, he loves it too.
Yeah, so they got a 120-30 lead right now.
And
McAdoo's back out. And he looks like he tried to pick off Quaffle and missed it.
Deflection of the Quaffle back into the back. Yeah, looks into the back pitch over there. Kicked it forward to himself, and he missed the shot. Tried to rush it just a little bit too much. You knew somebody was right there. You knew you were going to get hit. Just calm down a little bit, and you finished that one pretty strong.
Yeah, looks like Ohio Glory's not trying too hard to.
Nice alley-oop on the front side of the hoops.
Yeah, it looks like Ohio Glory's not trying very hard with the Snitch. This is the first time Brightblade's actually been charging for it. He's had a lot more time. But yeah, that brings the lead for Glory up to 100. So at this point, I think they might keep McAdoo in just to try and end the game with the Snitch catch.
And it's going to be good work for a Seeker because, I can tell you this right now, Snitch Rob is not giving up easily.
No, he's very mobile, but he seems to maintain the keeps you guys at arm's length while being mobile, that's what you see with the best Snitches.
Oh, almost got a swipe at it. That was pretty
dive
quick.
By Roy Plate.
Yeah, nice explosion off that 1 foot to get around that hip
over there.
That was
impressively fast.
I think that's what Snitch Rob said right before he moved his hips out of it. He's like, ooh, that was pretty close. And the closest game I've seen him have today, it was just over a minute.
Ooh.
And it was because he lost track of a Seeker.
Lost
track of a Seeker during, I believe it. Oh, wow, a nice shot. Yes, that was.
Wow,
from way outside the keeper zone, came up with that one for Nomads. That's 30, right? 130.
No, that's 40 now. Yep, 130 to 40 now.
130 to 40.
Unless they get about 5 more of those.
Hey, you never know. Sun setting.
I have seen comebacks
of a crazy caliber.
Let's say Guardians last year at MLQ championships.
If there was ever a time for a comeback of this caliber, it's right now.
Yeah, especially with Ohio Glory. Ohio Glory dunks it through again.
Yeah, and it looked like on the attempt to try and strip that ball away, it went through the hoop there. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I just looking at the size of the Nomads compared to the Ohio Glory, I just can't physically deal with them, and so you'd have to have your beaters step up, and they're trying to step up into McAdoo, and that's kind of hard to do.
And a near snitch grab by Ohio Glory on the far side, and keeping the crowd entertained.
Yeah.
A pass in front of the hoops over there almost came up with a nice catch, but it was bobbled. Only one hand to get on top of it, and a nice pass from Ohio Glory to get that one. And now a quick sub at the keeper position.
Looks like Nomads are actually running 4 females right now.
Yep, that's it's something that they ran to start this game off with, see what would happen, and
more
limited,
subbing,
no doubt, and limited roster here today for the Nomads. They've come quite a long way.
They've only got 5 subs, it looks like.
Which in a tournament that has most of these teams 21 full rosters, and you think about the teams that are in the near vicinity, if half the team couldn't make it to the tournament, Cavalry and Lone Star could find somebody who's on the roster to make it out here. Most of their reserve players are actually volunteering here today for Round Rock at the athletic complex.
Yeah, most of the top tier teams will have to make cuts. So, and that's just one of the differences between the top tier teams. And
and you got to get those reserves in there, and you got to have an active list and a reserve list sometimes. So
yeah, and you got to use them. You got to let them, and that's what Ohio Glory is doing very well right now is letting their reserves play.
Right.
And letting guys like Doherty sit.
And Nomads are going to sub out here. Get a good rotation.
Oh, it looks like they're putting somebody else different in the seeker.
Going to see if he can use some size to get past Rob, but Rob showing the willingness to run. Nomads got an attempt here and a finish.
Dunked it through.
Yeah, good vision on that one. Took a shot from about 2 feet out, and now Swedish trying to get across mid-pitch over here.
150 to 50. It's back to 100 again. I don't know if Ohio Glory is going to be okay playing this kind of slow ball with the seeker, if they're going to actually have the seeker. It looks like they're trying a little more with the seeker now.
Yeah, you have to wonder, do they even take time to go over and play the seeker game? I know, looking at the situation, you want every single tiebreaker you can get. So
yes, absolutely.
And if everybody maxed out on the tiebreaker and caught the snitch versus Nomads, that's something they have to do. They're just gonna they're gonna put in that situation because they at least have to match all the tiebreakers that everybody was able to gain. Texas State over there warming up just beyond this pitch, watching this game. Top seed in the college ranks, just down the street out of San Marcos, Texas. Another team, if half the team couldn't make it to the tournament, they would find some reserves.
Yeah, I mean, they have a full squad on their B team.
They also the B team is here, so they can't pull those guys up. They're here competing at nationals. The Sharknadoes. When they one of the funnier scenes, well, one of the funnier things on Twitter, definitely when they found out that they were in that large bid. They quoted the tweet and said, Nationals is going to need a bigger boat, in reference to the legendary movie Jaws.
It's fantastic. So that's 160 to 50 now. Now, speaking of tiebreakers, though,
remember, if you're at home, the only tiebreaker modifications happen in the college ranks. They changed the order of things and the value of certain wins. So strength of schedule does
strength
matter.
Strength of schedule comes into play because of the Swiss style.
And it is determined purely statistically, not about the USQ ranking. It's about the margin of victory combined with the opponent of the teams that they beat.
Yep, the record of the opponents they played. Yep.
Ohio Glory
but
on the attack.
Quaffle points against is the 3rd tiebreaker.
Right.
So Ohio Glory probably doesn't want to drag the game out forever just because of that.
Yeah, and like I said, Snitch Rob is he's got a reputation to protect.
Yeah, there's that's also very true. They might not want to, but they might not have a choice.
Yeah, he might have to. The Nomads might need to go up and pull the old switcheroo, pretend like they're going to defend, and pull the
sneak
snitch.
attack. Although I would expect them to be walking it a little more.
As Nomad Seeker is going to get beat up front. But talking about Texas State, what they've been up to here today, they got a first-round bye. They were the only team to receive one of those first-round byes. Virginia was a #1 seed. They had one of the best records of the entire season. When you're looking at the USQ season overall, as another goal was scored.
They had one loss. That was it, I believe, the whole year. Well,
as you're looking at the top records, they were 1 win away from a 30-win season, which is pretty impressive because that means they got the team moving. They were on the move quite a bit, 29-4 on the season. Maryland just behind them at 26-1.
And I think Virginia's only losses were to teams like Maryland or QCB.
Right. They were playing top-tier community teams or top-tier league quality teams in their region. And Nomads, for a team that doesn't have a ton of subs, they're getting some pretty good rotations out there. But looking at the top 10 records in the USQ and then compared to their USQ rankings, the highest one is Texas Quidditch with only they're 19-5 on the season, but they're 10th ranked because they've been playing high-quality teams. They actually beat Lone Star Quidditch Club twice earlier this year.
Yeah, it's just misleading looking at some of those college teams' records because they're going up against the best of the best in the community leagues. Like, for example, today, the number 12 Texas Tech upset the number 5 seed CMU. A lot of people wouldn't call that an upset because Texas Tech is not a 12 seed.
And I'm a big fan of Texas Tech. A lot of my current teammates on the Houston Cosmos are former members of Texas Tech. And that, by the way, that upset coming. By the way, it's called an upset because Central Michigan went 24-10 this season. So they're having one heck of a year. They're still in it. They're probably going to be going to day 2.
And CMU's got a lot of losses to Ohio Glory and Lake Erie Elite.
Right.
It's just Texas has got so many good teams.
And no doubt about that. Texas Tech all the way out in Lubbock, Texas. The closest tournament they've driven to this season is 6 hours.
Jeez.
So West Texas is an interesting place.
Whereas I don't think we had a tournament that far away. Oh, other than like Heroes versus Villains that we flew to. So.
Yeah, Heroes versus Villains was how was that experience for you guys besides that one game?
Short of Nationals, that's the coolest tournament I've ever been to.
Nice.
They did an absolute great job. The Gambits, Cal, all got together and ran a great tournament. They hyped it up the whole time, and it was a well-run tournament up until when the lights went out a little early, but that wasn't their fault. It was a great tournament, and it was great to get that experience against teams from outside of the region. I hope they do it again next year with about 16 teams.
Yeah,
it was great.
I found it. A lot of people found it very fitting that there was actually really no champion of Heroes versus Villains. It's the sequel to the movie.
Ironic.
Yeah, it's the sequel. Who really is the champion? The Heroes or the Villains? The Lost Boys competed against the Nomads, and it looks like Ohio Glory just got a snitch pull. By the way, regardless of what happens, he's shaking his head yes a bunch of times, so this game is pretty much over.
Yeah,
Snitch
Rob,
like
a very clean catch.
I think he got bored. I'm kidding.
Was he on handicap yet?
I don't think so.
I think he might have been on first handicap, but he definitely was not on second.
No way.
Yeah, he definitely was not one-handed yet.
This game is over, finished. Ohio Glory gets this one in a runaway very quickly, but the Nomads.
So that's 220-60.
220-60, one of the highest scoring games I've seen on pitch 1 here today.
Yes.
And the Nomads, by the way, mad respect to them. They were real positive throughout the course of that game. They were really happy with their teammates. It's real easy to turn against each other when you get into that situation. Real easy to start yelling at each other, bickering and stuff like that. But the Nomads, very happy with themselves, very kind about it as well.
Yeah,
so mad respect to them.
I agree. I think they kept it happy and they kept it fun. I think they just knew they were a little outmatched on that one. But they didn't let it get them down.
And use it as motivation. That's what the off season's for. So
yeah, they're a relatively new team, so they can pick up some more players and expand.
And looks like if this matchup is what I think it is,
Kansas versus Texas Tech.
Yeah, things are about to get
or
real
Kansas, Texas
interesting.
State. Oh,
Things are about to get real interesting. There's about to be a lot of people. Actually, now that I look at the crowd over there, there's a lot of people already over.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. This is Texas Tech is the best college team right now, and Kansas is one of the best. They won the Midwest, and they upset Mizzou to win I don't know if it was an upset, but they beat Mizzou. So this is going to be a great game.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back here on pitch 1, and the number 1 seed in the college ranks will take on the Kansas Jayhawks. The Ohio Glory defeat Nomads right here on US Quidditch Cup 11.